kind of feel the history here. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but you can feel this stuff. Morning, friends, and welcome to day 53. The first thing I'm going to do this morning is just be silent and let you listen to this woodpecker. I don't know if my microphone is picking that up, but he is crazy busy this morning. Gives me a headache just listening to him. Okay, so day 53. The plan is I am slackpacking southbound back into Erwin, which is going to enable me to do a couple of things. One, of course, slackpack. Probably have 10 pounds on my back, if that. And seems to help my back and my hips. So I'm going to do that every chance I get and hope get all this stuff under control. Second thing it does for me is allows me to spend another night at the Super 8 motel and avoid what appears to be some heavy rain coming in. It's supposed to start raining around 3 o'clock today and rain through the night and all the way into tomorrow. So when you have the option, why not avoid 12 hours of drenching rain? So that's the plan. 6.8 miles, I think. So should be, hopefully I get back to Erwin before 3 o'clock and miss the rain, but I'm ready if it starts raining early. It looks like it's going to start raining any second. But we'll see if the weather report was right. Had a good night last night, got a good night's sleep. Resupplied. I mentioned all this in my episode yesterday. Got a good breakfast this morning. The Super 8, of course, didn't have much, but I had prepared, so I had a little protein bowl, egg bowl in my room, and got a good breakfast, and I'm on the trail. So been on the trail about 15 minutes. Elevation-wise, not a good day for me. It's a little bit of a climb for maybe a mile or so, and then 4 or 5 miles down again into Erwin. So that part's not good. Hopefully it's not too steep and doesn't do more damage to my hips than the slack packing benefit gives me. So, all right, that's my morning. That's my plan. See you on down the trail. Morning again, friends. Let's see. I think it's about 11 o'clock. And just came out of the woods and came around the corner into what is called Curly Maple Gap, and saw this. How cool is that? Well, it turns out that is the foundation of an old house. I don't know much about it, gonna have to look it up, but clearly we're at a little gap here. There's a little side trail there, looks like maybe a campsite in there, and I'm gonna head north that way. But I think things like this are super cool. You can kind of feel the history here. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but you can feel this stuff. You can feel a house and I don't know. So when I come around the corner and see old house foundations or chimneys still standing where the rest of the structure is gone or anything like that, I think it's super cool. All right, just wanted to show you that. See you on down the trail. And there's Curly Maple Shelter. I won't be staying here, but just walking by. Looks like it's been, I would say, rebuilt or remodeled a little bit. Looks old, but the inside maybe looks a little rebuilt and painted. Nice front porch with a covered picnic table. Boy, have I wished I had that a few times. Looks pretty big. Don't see a lot of opportunities for level tenting, that's for sure. Unless there's a little campsite. Although there was a campsite, I think, back at that Curly Maple Gap about 2/10 of a mile north. But nice little area right here. Looks like some people have pitched some tents. They're just not very level sites. Maybe there's, I see maybe 2 or 3 level sites. All right, see you on down the trail. Well, good afternoon, friends. I just stopped for lunch. It's just about noon. Right along this busy little stream right here. This little stream has been right alongside the Appalachian Trail for probably 3 miles now. Sometimes it's much smaller. There was actually a waterfall a ways back. So I thought it was a nice place to stop for lunch. Had my usual lunch, which is a couple of Star-Kissed chicken packs of various flavors. Today I had a garlic and herb and a chipotle. And then I had a beef stick of some sort. Good source of protein. Not a Slim Jim. I've decided I don't like those, but there's lots of other varieties. And then a Snickers bar, my usual dessert. So that was lunch today. I've got probably 3 more miles for the day. I think I said this morning, I had a light day at 6.3 miles. It's actually 8.3 miles. Maybe I said 8.3, but it is 8.3 miles. So I've done a little more than 5 miles today. Got about 3 miles to go. I didn't mention this, but I am hiking today on a brand new set of tires. My other ones, I had completely worn down the tread. That is the downside to the Topos. I've heard that before. People say they're a little bit less durable than certainly hiking boots and even some other trail runners. There's a whole bunch of butterflies. 5 of them chasing each other around. And I guess I would say that's my experience. Both just the fact that I've hiked 340 miles or so. I think I've heard most people say you replace your hiking shoes or boots about every 400 or 500 miles on the trail. Some people stretch that even further. So 340, a little short. In addition to that, I may have mentioned this many episodes ago, but I started to get some tearing on both shoes, right on the inside edge of the ankle on both shoes. So I don't think it was anything I did. I don't think it's the way I walk. And I was pretty disappointed in REI and their response to me. The gentleman at the REI in Brentwood, Tennessee, despite their fabulous 1-year return policy, looked at my shoes and said, "Yeah, no, you've worn them out too much." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yep, you've worn these too much to express your dissatisfaction." So I was pretty disappointed in REI. So I emailed Topos, and I haven't heard back from them. So I gotta say, I love the shoes. They're incredibly comfortable. But I've been disappointed in the manufacturer's service, and I've been disappointed in their retailer service. So there you have it. All right, let me get back to this hike here, and I'll see you on down the trail. 60 Years of Gratitude, 1990.
I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. So I've got a friend in low places.
Where you find it, not just where you bump and grind it. Soul is in the music, that's why I feel so beautiful.
She says, but the message in
Okay, 60 years of gratitude, 1990. New decade, the 90s. I was noticing last night that a lot of my gratitudes follow themes and come in bunches. And of course that makes sense because the things I did in my life, like go to college and work a job, happened over the course of a few years. So it kind of makes sense. So that's going to continue today. So in my last episode, I talked about moving to Connecticut to go to work for New Science Associates. And what a fun, wild, crazy company that was. With lots of great people. And I could talk about those people for a long time too. Ken and Bruce were the founders. Actually, there was a third founder who was gone before I got there. But I knew Ken and Bruce as the founders. Ken was a Tufts guy. So he kind of led the research side of the business. And Bruce was the sales and marketing guy. And again, just a great group of people. I talked about Scott in the last episode, and Chris Smith, and great technical analysts, Bill and John Pop and Jerry and Nina and Joni and Jill and Megan and Stephen Bird, my roommate for a while, and I'm forgetting so many other people. Just a great group. But today's gratitude is about one of those people, and it's Chris Smith. Chris is this year instead of another year because he joined about a year, I think, after I joined. And he came in, I don't remember Chris's title, probably Vice President of Sales and Marketing or something like that. But he came to New Science at a critical time. We had been, and we're still, a kind of wild, renegade, high-growth company, literally running all over the country, selling research and consulting services in the technical space. And Chris joined us, and the reason for my gratitude is a bunch of layers. First, he was a great boss. That's kind of number one. But he came to New Science at a time, and I give Ken and Bruce credit for this, for recognizing the need for Chris. Chris brought systems and structure to this wild renegade company right when it needed it. And I obviously learned from that. As a matter of fact, probably the number one part of my gratitude is I spent most of my career in operations, running businesses, either as the head of operations or my own companies, but running the operations. And I learned a lot of that from Chris about the importance of systems, repeatable systems, and structure and discipline. So that's certainly a part of my learning from Chris. In addition to that, he was a great guy. And as the VP of Sales and Marketing, he traveled with all of us quite a bit. So I spent a lot of time on the road with Chris all over the country, in planes, rental cars, and hotels, and big cities and small cities, and in offices, and missing airplanes, and in pouring rain getting rental cars, and you name it. And when you do all that, and you do it with a lot of fun, you really get to know people well. And so, in addition to the impact he had on me professionally, He was a great guy to work for. And so that's 1990. That's my gratitude for 1990. New Science and all the fun people of New Science. But Chris Smith, his arrival, and as I always say, I know I'm kind of a broken record here, but to this day, a lifelong friend. So that's 1990, and we'll see you on down the trail. Now that's what I'm talking about. This is what our local trail maintaining clubs do. And I am now in a area covered by, it's a mouthful, I had to look it up. The Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club, I think is the correct full name. But they build things like this, amazing footbridges. You can see down below, the bridge wasn't there. There's enough rocks to skip across, but you gotta skip across. And if the level of the water comes up, you're wading through. So this is a beautiful footbridge. Thank you, Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club. Well, this is cool. My first railroad crossing. Coming southbound back into Erwin. The trail goes right across some railroad tracks, with signs on both sides that say, "Don't try to cross between railroad cars, and watch out for oncoming trains." I guess those are necessary instructions. All right, see you soon. Okay, good afternoon, friends. Gonna wrap up day 53. It's about 2 o'clock, and I'm gonna call today a good day. Feels good to call a day a good day. I'm not gonna use words like 100% or phrases like 100% or healed or anything like that. I'm sitting on wood, so I'm gonna knock on wood and say things felt pretty good today. I think I'm gonna stop talking about my back. Most of you are probably sick of hearing me complain about my back. But it's been 2.5 weeks since that morning I couldn't get out of my tent. And it's been 12 days since I've been back on trail after those 5 days off to get my back right. And in those 12 days, I haven't had anything like that morning, that's for sure. And it's kind of gotten closer and closer. I like to use the phrase baseline, where I was before the Smokies, where my back was sore, I've got a bad back, I know it, but wasn't causing me trouble, just a little pain. My left hip, I'm gonna call it baseline. Today was a largely pain-free day, and I had a good hike. I feel it. It's there, both of my hips, especially my left, but knock on wood, no real pain today, no real discomfort, no real moments of pain. So now the tough thing is going to be convincing my own brain to not try to push miles. And the good news is I've got for sure the next 2 days heading north out of Indian Grave Gap are both relatively light days. Do have a 13-mile day planned in 3 days. We'll see. But I'm going to do my best to keep it relatively light. A day like today ending at 1 o'clock is not as bad as ending at a shelter, because I'm back here at the Super 8 motel and I've still got some things to do, but we'll see how that goes. All right, that's a wrap on day 53. We'll see you on the trail tomorrow morning.